Hey everyone, welcome to our Barrier Breakers episode tonight. We're stoked to have LA film alum David Mansanalez and Alex Ferrufino. I did not roll the R's for you there, Alex. I'll work on that. So
good,
glad
man.
to have you here tonight. Tonight we just want to get to know more about them, know more about their journey into the entertainment business, their successful production company, their film work that they've done and are currently working on. And we want to tell you, the viewers tonight, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat and we'll get some of those questions here in a bit. We'd love to hear your questions and give them an opportunity to a little bit about who you are. So David, you want to start and jump in first?
Oh man. All right, I'm on the hot seat, guys. David Mansanalez. Before joining the film industry, I was in the military for just under 6 years. And after that, I was like, yo, I'm gonna try to join this industry. And when I got out, I did a tour of different schools that have film programs. And what I had learned for myself, being in the military and being hands-on, that was what grabbed me from the tour that I took at the Los Angeles Film School. So it was just on from there. Like once I got there, I always had a knack for film, but I didn't really know what I liked and what was my specialty. But being around so many creative students and instructors that actually work in the field and have a background, not just someone that read a book and is going to tell me how to make a movie but never made a movie, is inspiring, you know? So that's how I got to the film school, finished off school. And since then, day to day, I coordinate for some reality shows, from Bachelor to Red Table Talk and a few others. Because in this industry, you have to connect and you got to constantly move. Even if you say you're the director or the writer, if you're not at that position yet and you need to pay the bills, you got to connect. And it's all about making those connections and working in other positions, because they want to be yet in my career, but I'm still working at it. Alex and I, we've done quite a few projects, but our last two are really what's getting us some buzz and seeing the quality work and the content that we want to create. And so I'm here now and I'm excited to talk to you guys.
Awesome, David. Thank you. And it's great to meet you and great to have you here tonight. And Alex, how about you? You want to give us a little background?
So I've been a film geek nerd, whatever you want to call me, undercover nerd. Since a kid, I love films. I love the escaping the reality and, I got myself like all wrapped around movies and not knowing that fully I wanted to pursue that until the universal lot was introduced to me in my life as a young kid. And then from there, went to school. I'm a graffiti artist and I like to draw. So I got into that world, and then I got introduced to a director that wanted to do storyboards, and I did some of his storyboards. I was a nosy kid and I started looking at the production trucks that line up on the streets all over this town. And I used to just bug people all the time. Hey, you need help, you need help, until finally somebody gave me the opportunity to PA. And then I did that for a year. And then I was like, well, if I'm going to do this seriously and I don't want to feel like I'm asking dumb questions, even though there's no such thing as dumb questions nowadays. I decided to vocabulary. What is a C-STEM? All that stuff came to play. And I'm just like sitting there like, oh, what is it? And I'm like, So I did a full year of just like dabbling in different departments as a PA. And then I went to the film school and I did the accelerated program. I think it was 2009 and graduate early 2010. And the rest was history. That's really, from there, it was just been chipping away. Working with David and everybody that I've met throughout the years since graduation. And here I am now and doing some cool stuff.
Yeah, well, thank you for filling us in. It's just so inspirational, to get to meet both of you. you know, David from the military background and then just coming out of that and really, you know, from what I've read about you and seeing about your background as a writer using.
It does. You know, it's funny growing up, just in my environment, the way I was raised, you're not the cool kid to be studious,
Mhm.
um, and it's just the environment I was in. So growing up, I never really focused on school, but as an adult getting out of the military and really focused, I found a passion in writing and expressing myself because I came out and I did a really long tour in Afghanistan, and it wasn't self, and you're more comfortable in who you are and in your shoes. You just want to be you now. Like I'm an adult. I don't care what anyone thinks as a young person or even a young adult. We often worry about what people think too much that we hinder what we want to do. And I got to a point where I'm like, I'm going to go full in. And then I started surrounding myself with more people that wanted to do the same things I wanted to do or wanted more out of life. And you just kind of started growing. And
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about that team because I know that a lot of our students are, you know, they have their eye on the horizon of where am I going? What am I going to do when I get out of school? And a lot of our students, you know, as you well know, starting their own projects even while they're still in school. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about your current projects and the Four Ways latest project of in Broad Daylight. And tell us about that project and what's up with that.
We did Slipping into Darkness. We submitted to festivals, and we took an award that got us into the HBO licensing deal. We're on HBO Max for that project, and it was when it first aired. I think it was the first weekend of COVID when it first hit, and everybody the whole shutdown happened. So that year was a very hard year for us because we feel like we're a little bit on top of the world, and then it just went crumbling. Kind of like the kick in the butt to be like, let's do another one. That's really what it was. We wrote a feature for it. It's technically a feature, but it's very tough out here and it's hard. So the motivation was to shoot the short version of it to showcase what we could do, and showcase a proof of concept, whatever you want to call it, put it into festivals, just creating all these. How could we be still artists and not let that be a hindrance? So that was in Broad Daylight. And Broad Daylight came from a feature that we all love. And the inspiration of the feature was we could disclose it. I guess it's the feature is about the bad apples and the good apples in the law enforcement, especially the LA Sheriff Department. And we were focusing on both. What are good apples? What are bad apples? And it's the organization, the gangs, and then they're resurfing again. But that's really what the project is about. It's about the good cop, bad cop, and we don't want to be biased. We don't want to put bad cops like all of them are bad. So it's more of focusing on both, like what it takes for a good cop to become a bad cop, or he doesn't want to be a bad cop. So it's the tug of war, and that's what we're showcasing in this short film. Is that's our reality. I've dealt with those type of cops myself. David that we've seen in the news in the last 3 years, because now we could see it. But so it's just we felt like we had to tell that story and put a voice to it.
Wow. Well, it's amazing that as artists and filmmakers, you're able to put a voice to that topic, and it's very timely, obviously. And we get to hear this little snippet, of the LA Film School. There you go.
Yes.
Premiere inside scoop. Well, David, I know that you work a lot on the really. I guess we would just say the production team side, and putting the production
Yes.
together. And
Yes.
I'm just curious as to the challenges that you face in that, and especially when it comes to hiring. We've got a lot of our students that are looking for jobs and going through the process. And what are strategies that you use in building your team in a production?
Let's see. One thing we do is if you're a student here, we actually hire a lot of people. A lot of our people on set are Los Angeles Film School grads that are currently pursuing the career. You know, I feel like when you actively pursue something, that's like that's pride. You know, you see someone else trying. We have referrals. Like if you're cool to work with and to be on set with, and you know what you're doing, you can get hired. Like I've never been asked, hey, what school do you go to? I've had maybe that conversation if we're talking, right? But no one's ever been like, hey, where'd you graduate from? Like, no, it's like, yo, I'll get a random call and say, hey, I'm a producer on this project. So-and-so gave me your number. And obviously you want everyone to be professional and bring their A game. Different people work differently. You know, some people are high strung people when they work. Other people are super relaxed. So, you know, but at the end of the day, I like to work with pleasant people. Like, yo, if I'm going to be on set with you for a week or so for 12 plus hours, I want to smile when I see you, you know? So that's one key thing on my end. Social media, even for actors and stuff, I love to keep like who's hot and who's new, like whether it's acting, even when we start with PAs and stuff, it's always, like I said, referrals. Like, hey, I'll hit up some of my producer buddies or just people that I trust.
The
say,
school.
hey, the school, we hit up the school quite often to say, hey, we're looking for PAs, you know, and we just, because we know this is where we started, we trust who they're going to send our way. And I really start.
Well, one question that I have kind of to piggyback off of that is, we oftentimes hear our students, you know, say, oh, I don't want to get locked in to a certain position. So I don't want to keep that job because then that will be my job forever. And you said a moment ago, you know, that you did a lot of different things coming into the industry, but what would be your advice there?
Well, Al, you want to go?
I'll go. It's been almost 10 years now of doing that, and I'm a union. I'm a member in the union, so I do union shows. And the only reason why somebody will get stuck, and it's not a bad reason, is because you're making good money.
Yeah, or you're good at what
really
you do.
And some people, that's all they wanted to do, and that's great. That's they wanted to be in the camera department. They want to operate, frame. They want to move forward. Maybe they want to be a cinematographer at one. I had that feeling a year before I did Slipping Into Darkness, which was 2017. Where like, oh, I feel like I'm getting older, and there's no timestamp. Like that's one thing that people like to do. Oh, I need to do this at a certain age. Forget all that. At least from my experience, that doesn't work. But so I was getting to that point where like I'm comfortable. I mean, it gets to that. That's not my end goal. So it was in between that feeling and starting the company with the guys, because we all had the same similar story. But like, well, instead of making films for somebody else, let's make films for each other and let's become a team. That's how the Four Ways got created. But on a personal level, it was also like, well, if I don't direct soon, then I'm never going to direct. And I know you have to figure out and balance the passion and the financial, paying the rent. You have to find a balance and just do it, or else you could get stuck. And I don't want to call it stuck. You get comfortable, because if you do work, like David said, if you do work and you're cool and you know your stuff, you will work, and you'll work constantly. It's the hard part is they go to another one as a unit.
They take everyone else.
Yeah. So it's funny, but it's like they're little parasites, but the best parasites, because they move the industry, they move the team and the production. But no, it's just finding the balance and really focus. I think it's focus and determination, and not losing sight of the end goal, even though you have to work at, excuse my language, guys, work you're teaching somewhere. It doesn't matter what the job is, as long as you know the end goal and you don't lose sight from that. It's proven. It works. It's just you have to do it. And I'm just saying that because I've gone through that, and it's very tough. You can get comfortable, not stuck, comfortable.
Right. It makes sense. Makes sense. David, did you have anything to add to that?
No, okay, maybe I do. But yeah, I was feeling the same way. Shows, because that's my bread and butter. And for some reason in that reality world, I can't seem to move up. Right. So that's why. But I don't aspire to be a producer on reality. There's nothing wrong with that. But my niche is I want to do feature films. I have full on stories that I see cinematic. When I love going to the movie theaters. I'm glad movie theaters are opening back up. Producer. I've been with these different companies for days, but they know my work. Why change a good thing? So this guy knows how to coordinate the shit out of stuff. He'll get it done. He does all the logistics. We're good with him. They didn't see an avenue. So I said, well, at the end of the day, why am I crying here? I want to do movies. So bro, let's do our own movie, and that was what we did. We're like, hey, essentially it's not like we're working on features and then not moving up. We're working
non-scripted.
A lot of non-scripted. There's the word. Non-scripted.
Hey, and don't knock the non-scripted because you make more money on those shows.
Fun. Yeah, pays good. They're short runs, and you meet a lot of people that are doing a lot of things, and that's how you connect and stuff. But I knew, okay, I eventually want to do features. We have to showcase what we can do on that road. Understand what your team needs. If someone's coming with you with some bogus stuff, you could also stop and say, no, I know this could be done, because then you're not unrealistic either, because you're not expecting something that they can't do. So the more you learn about each department, the better you are at your job,
Yeah, makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Well, it's not always a linear journey from hearing that. Now, there's been a lot of news this week in talking about the unions, and we won't necessarily get into the deep part of that news because it's still unfolding. But I did want to point out, that Alex is a member of the International Cinematographers Union, the local 600, which is really fantastic. And a lot of our students come into our programs not even knowing anything about unions. They don't even know that unions exist. And what is a union, and that, you're going to get a 401k. So,
dude.
But what perspective can you bring here, Alex, to tell us a little bit about unions that our students might benefit from today?
I mean, there's so much you could benefit off of. First of all, healthcare. That's a big trending topic in the world, in this country, in the political side of. So, you get your pension, your 401k, you get all that stuff, but you also get the decent rates. You get we hear this term a lot: low budget, high budget, all this crazy talk as far as all that stuff. But pretty much is like you get covered, somebody's protecting you, you're not working, you're not. And there's a lot that comes to it. And connections. Obviously, one of the things that a lot of people want is the connections in the industry. We're the Cinematographer Guild, the local 600. So all the cinematographers that anybody in this chat admires are in that union or part of that union. Some of them run that union. So it's very beneficial in the long run. It doesn't matter if you're art department, grip department, camera department, or you want to train animals. Anybody on set on a union show is part of a union, and it's good. It's they're there for a reason, and the reasons are not bad. And I know we don't in the film school. There's not that much talk about it, but for example, I learned the union stuff after That paperwork consists of call sheets, pay stubs, tax returns, just stuff that shows that you're a freelancer or self-employed contractor as in the film industry. But all those paperworks, and depending on what union, have different rules to join. And just look up the information, look it up, go to the actual union. They're in 4 years in and they're barely finding out, working 4 years in, they're barely finding out, oh, I could do this and all that stuff. So it's a process. For me, I had to do 109 union days in the 3-year span. And then I had to prove all those 109 union days. I had to prove the hours with pay stubs, call sheets. So even in school doing thesis or shooting projects, those call sheets, save them because it was a shoot and you put in the work and information where you kind of get yourself ahead and save all those paperwork and documents. Because coming out of school, I didn't save none of that. And I didn't oh, wait, I had all this. And, so just save the call sheets, save them, print them, put them in the folder, pay stubs, make sure if you're getting paid, if you're doing it just for the experience, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're getting paid, make sure you get paid cash or have some type of letter saying that you got paid.
Your ability to work or not work for yourself.
It's tricky, but it's not crazy. I think the funny part is subconsciously once you're in a union, you function like a union member. So you make the set, at least for me and David, when the union show. So if something comes up or protocols come up or there's a concern, we work them as a union show, even though they're not union. Like all the shorts, they're low budget shorts that we've done so far, but they're technically union shows. And David made that happen through SAG. So you could work with SAG actors, and David could touch on that. But as artists, the union cannot hinder your artistic path. Like they'll be there, they'll protect you, they'll protect a set and do all the stuff. Like if a set is not safe, and even if you're not a member in the union, you could call, if you see the camera department's not safe, you could call the hotline and be like, yo, this set is not safe. Check the union show even when they're not union. And that's how we cover our butts.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the safety side of things, because I know that beyond just the pay rate and the benefits of insurance and all of the different aspects of that, safety is also a huge part of the union. So I'm glad you brought that in as well. And so, David, as far as putting together your teams and building out, scheduling and doing all of that.
That we face as a smaller production company that Alex and I, we were perfectionists, and we've worked on so many projects that we know what it takes to deliver quality. So at a smaller budget, what makes it hard is when we flip it to SAG is just cost. Mm-hmm. And unsafe conditions or exhausting hours, and you're just not taking care of them. But that comes with the people that are running the production. That's why we're probably in the current strike that they're in, So we take the approach is, we like to give fair rates. Most of the guys we work with, like Alex, the whole camera team are all union guys. They're all buddies. So some of them give us a little favor on the cost, but then we know we have to budget because the actors, fine, we just have to go find it now. So that's what makes it hard on our end. It's never hard to follow the protocols, to submit paperwork. There's more paperwork for me, making sure their time cards are on, they're taking the breaks on time, food is on, all the protocols that any union sends. That's not the hard part. For us at independent filmmakers, that a lot of our projects are self-funded, respect and common sense. Like a lot of these things aren't unrealistic, you know. Let your guys sleep. Like, don't work them 15 hours and expect them to be back in 5. Like that's common sense. But there are productions and stuff that have done these type of things. That's why these rules are in place, you know.
Right.
Yeah, and then with SAG, for example, we love to work with SAG actors, you know, and not to say that actors that are not part of that union are not professional, are not good, but when when it's almost like, I know you're in the union, I know you're SAG, so I know you're taking this seriously. I know you'll be on time. I know they're, you know, so so never get discouraged if you're doing a short film and your actors SAG. There's like I said, go to their website, look up the paperwork, the contracts, and there's somebody always there to pick up the phone and guide you to do the steps. What tends to happen is you just need to do them a month or 2 in advance, so you could have it all done before you start shooting. So I consider unions like the shield to the liability on both ends. You know what I mean? Like, they cover the production, but they also cover the person, you know? So it's like a shield, just to be like, yo, they're like, this is not cool. This is not cool. This is not cool on both ends. So yeah, I mean, we could go for hours as far as like in depth and all that stuff, but the knowledge is there. It's on the internet. It doesn't take that long to just go read a couple articles or a couple of pages of a website just to like kind of understand what's going on and what they're about and what unions are what, or especially like also like if you're in art department, if you want to be a set dresser or a production designer, that's a whole different union, you know. So there's multiple unions. So if there's a niche or there's a place that you want to be in the industry, start looking up those unions and get ready for those moments.
Right. Well, very helpful. And we do, at the LA Film School, we do teach in our entertainment business program to a certain extent, a little bit about the unions. So we do have a little bit of curriculum that, you know, is geared toward that to prep our students, some of our students, especially the ones who are going into the producing side.
Yeah.
Now, we have, if you're watching here online today, we would love to hear from you. If you have some questions, put them in the chat. And we have a question from Mario. And he's asking if are there Latinx filmmakers present in your union? So what's the percentage?
All right. Well, Mario, great question. So, you know, our first film, Slipping into Darkness, won HBO's first ever Latinx short film competition. Yes. So outside of Alex and I both being Latinos, you know, that's something that we actually push for, and that's a cool question for you to ask. You know, to me, I just see myself as a writer, but in this industry, you know, there's right now, Latinx is the hot commodity. A lot of things are picking up, so Alex and I are going to use who we are to our advantage. So we do hire a lot of Latinos, but I don't know a percentage, maybe 50, maybe more, you know, like, yeah, but I hire whoever I can that I know is going to get the job done. It's great to work with, going to do it. But I mean, I'm Latino, so I know a lot of homies, right? So I'm like, hey, I know this guy, I'm gonna holler at him. I know him, you know, so, but I don't really gear that's not an agenda of mine, even though I am Latino, I am Latinx. That just won the award. I told them I like that I'm tattooed up and stuff because people don't see me as above the line. A lot of people see me as the grip guy or the dude driving the truck, you know. They just assume it because of my look, where I feel like that we're way past and beyond that. So so that was something I push for.
To piggyback off on David's answer, a lot of people under the line, it's very high because there's, like you said, there's a lot of grips, a lot of G&E, a lot of
camera department, bro.
Camera department, construction. Yeah. There's a lot of brown guys and a lot of brown girls that look like us, and we do the work. And I feel like when people talk about the percentage as far as representation in Hollywood, they're speaking above the line, but we're like, I want to say 40% is Latinos, to be honest.
Making the movies.
I mean, there's like, I just wrapped a show and the whole camera department and the lighting department were pretty much Latino besides 2 white guys. You know, so it's there. It's just, I think the question now is more above the line. What's the showrunners, the executives, all that. Below the line, oh, we're there. We probably surpassed it.
Right. Well, that's great. And Mario, hopefully you're inspired here by Alex and David today as well. And so it's awesome for you to be here to watch the show today. We also have a question from Mahogany, and she's a great question, Mahogany. How many years did it actively take for you to get into the union? Because, you know, it's not just overnight. We sometimes think, oh, we just go out and fill out.
Was 3 years. 3 years.
Okay.
I was working good jobs, non-union jobs that felt like union jobs. But the process, because there was 2 options I had. I either had to get on a union show with 30 days, but somebody has to vouch for me from a production producer, DP, who expedite the 109 union days. It's like a right time, right place type of scenario.
Right.
Or there's actually 3 options. Sorry about that. There's that option. The second option, you're on a non-union show and it flips. And when it flips, that meaning it became union, they either hire a union crew or that crew that was working that show becomes union members. So they get grandfathered in. That's another option. The option call sheets, all that stuff. So it took me a little bit longer. So I did the non-100 non-union days. And then I started a production company and gave myself the last 20 days because I did my thing. I operated, and that's how I got it took me about 6 years overall to join.
Right.
And for myself, I'm actually currently trying to work. Well, I'm acting on getting in the WGA. That starts here up in November. So what my manager did is in our contract, our writer's contract, the agreement, if you go to, like Alex said, if you go to your union that you want, there's parameters that tell you exactly what you need to do to get in. And if you don't understand it, because a lot of that jargon, you're like, what does this even mean? You could call them. So we wrote, I meet certain deadlines, and I execute X amount of pages. So once I get this this script done, while in production, I could work on that on my own time and get myself in the union. So I think I had a buddy that didn't even work that long. He worked, like Alex said, he worked on a show, and that show flipped union. So everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Christmas in July. Lucky guy, man.
Yeah. Well, we have some questions coming across here for you as artists, Alex and David. So who were some of your major influences in the industry as you were coming in here?
Oh, easy. So that's where I'm at as a writer, and the projects I'm currently pushing out, and I want to push out more. They have messages behind them, and those 2 producer, writer, director, they're legends to me, and that's who I aspire to. I'm hugely influenced by those 2.
Yeah, I think for me, it probably would be, the big wigs, the guys that run Hollywood. No, but most recently, there's a couple upcoming directors and independent filmmakers that I'm a fan of, and I don't want to butcher her name, but she's growing on me. The lady just took the Oscar. What's her name? Drawing a blank. But also, Billy. I watch it again with no sound. Like I just study films. But also like my team. My team is my biggest inspiration, to be honest. David, I piggyback off of those guys' ideas all day because I feel like we're going together. You know, those guys are already up there and I admire them. And one day I get to meet them and pick their brain. But no, the team that I have right now.
This Saturday. So that's pretty exciting, you know?
You know, and he got nice. a TV show on Hulu right now that is popping, the Wu-Tang series. And, you know, it's one of those things that we're super excited to just be in that position now because of our hard work to just produce the type of
that it came
content.
to us, right? You guys brought us here to talk, but there's hella times I'm like, I don't even cheating all the time, or you're trying to get a project out and you're like, it's a lot of hard work. And everyone should know that part too, you know. You don't always get the sleep you want. You don't always get the results. Sometimes you even if you know it's good, sometimes you know it's good and everyone else knows it's good, but whatever the agenda is or the current movement of what people are watching or want is you make them count. So every time you get that yes, you're like, all right, let's do this, guys. Or you open your own door like we do. We do our projects to say, hey, if they're not going to do it for us, we'll do it ourselves. Let's figure this out. So when this RZA thing, a buddy of another producer of ours called us, fond of our work, and said, I'm going to do this RZA thing, but I want to connect four ways with it. And I want to work with you guys and let's do this. And I was like, yeah, bro, say less. Like, we're on. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know the budget.
Thank you for mentioning that, because I know there's a lot of our students and even faculty, you know, who need to hear that. We need to keep going. It's not always about the yes. We get a lot of no's, and so I really appreciate you mentioning that and bringing that.
Thank you, Clay. I appreciate. Yeah, of course, it's the truth.
Yeah. Well, Crystal is asking a question, and we have a creative producing and development class here at LA Film School through our entertainment business program.
Damn.
Ghostbusters.
Oh, there you go.
I'm so excited for Afterlife coming out. I grew up a Ghostbusters fan. I still am. I have a 1-year-old child, so a lot of my family members are buying me Ghostbuster stuff for him so I can push on this tradition, you know. So
and that one and I know people don't like the movie Waterworld, even though they just announced they're doing a TV series for it.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. I think Ninja Turtles will be mine. But
those are really good ideas. I'm sure someone in Hollywood's thinking them up now, but those
are pretty much.
I went as a Ghostbuster when for Halloween one year, so maybe I'll have to revive it. For a couple of more questions if you have any, but I do have another question, and that is, and this is really the question we ask a lot of our guests here. What would you say for you coming out of LA Film School into the business? What was one of the hardest lessons that you feel like you've learned?
I didn't took advantage of the school properly when I was there. And I don't think it's a regret. You have the opportunity there to try everything. And even if you fail in something at the school, that's the perfect time to the trial and error that I wish I would have done more. I did a lot. Don't get me wrong. I did a lot at the school, but I wish I could have done even more at the school. And that was on me. There, everything is at your disposal, and just do that. And then the positive one, the one that I take with pride is that everybody I work with or the people I've met is through that school.
All right, David, you're on.
Oh, I'm on. I thought it was one of the team could answer. No, honestly, I think what I would have networked more. I like I said, lot. Like I was at a different mindset getting out of the military and jumping into school, and I found a new love for education, and I like this style of hands-on learning and stuff. So I was really focused on that, and I had a great group, classmates and other people, and I do projects. But I would have networked more. I mean, I'm a big. If I see somebody that I've been following and I like what they're doing, I just try to connect with them, whether it's IG or now that things are opening up at whatever capacity that is. Try to get coffee or something. But that's what I would have done more during my school time, was networked a little more and jumped on a few more projects. But
and attend a lot of these.
And a lot of times you're like, oh no, I'm cool. I'm done with school. I don't want to be there no more. I want to go do whatever. But these are valuable, man. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, the bar down the street on Sunset Boulevard is not going nowhere.
That was me. I was like, hey, I'm done. I'll be over there, bro. Now I'm like, no, where's the master class? I need to watch this.
Yeah. Well, that's very helpful. I know for a lot of our students. We have time for one more question, barely time for one more question. And I don't know that this is a really quick question, but it really has to do with our representation, lawyers and agents and managers. And let's just specifically ask, how soon in your career or in your work did you find that you needed to interact for yourself with either a manager or a law?
Maneuvering in this industry, not knowing the concept of what those four people, which is the lawyer, manager, PR, and agent. I did not really. I knew they existed, but I didn't understand their world and what they do. And now I know.
Yeah, but I also think that comes with I think it's a great question in this industry. Like, if you can afford a lawyer, then get one. Okay, especially you jump into this because you think you're going to work with other creatives, but some people are in this for the business. So if it's business, then you need to understand that and have someone to protect you, because you don't want to be held accountable or liable for these things that you just wanted to get the vision out and all, but now you're not making deadlines, but you signed that contract without thinking, and you're not making no deadlines because you're do it and let us know. I'm like,
and piggyback off of that, like, you literally need to read everything you sign. I don't care if it's a deal memo, a call sheet, anything you sign, just start practicing. Read it, even if it doesn't make sense. You put the effort and you start understanding the jargon between paperwork, because those managers and agents, they know it. They you need to be your own manager, you need to be your own PR, you need to be your own lawyer, and you just need to understand that concept. And once you get that opportunity to have representation, we both have managers because of a short. It's not what is it? It's not unrealistic to get representation. You just have to put in the work, for our experience.
Gotcha. Well,
no, and then after.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then even kids in the entertainment business. Hey, if you guys have a niche to be a leader and represent people, there's a moneymaker scenario out there. If you want clients and you feel like you could take on, like, if you want to be called a plug, or you want to be the guy that like does the deals, and or you're a good negotiator, you're a good talker, you have the gift of gab, all the you could be a manager, you could have clients, you could work your way up in that world. And also think about it, managers, difference between an agent and a manager, agents can produce. That's the only difference. Other than that, they're both the same title. They're both the same thing. The only difference is managers could produce with you, so they're more hands-on with you. They're hands-on as far as you as a crew. Whoever's listening to this, any manager that asks more than 10%, that's against the law too. Managers, agents take 10%, lawyers take 5%. I think PR is a whole different thing. I think they're upfront or they take something in the back end, but I think it's not more than 10. Anybody that asks more than 10, they're full of shit. Don't sign the deal.
All right, there you have it. Direct from Alex. That you never thought you would use. Any kind of skills that you have that you're using currently that you never thought you used. The age-old question is, do you use math?
Oh, I use math all the time.
That's actually not the question. We'll go with Jessica's question.
I know.
Yeah, I know you would use math all the time, dude.
I mean, shit. What skill do I thought I was not?
I don't know.
That's a good one.
I use. I know.
It's a good one because it's like.
I guess my skill. I guess no. Hey, Jessica stumped us, but no. I think my skill that I just didn't. It's just like being myself and communicating with people and stuff. Like most of the time, like I said, even me getting on jobs is the same way as me getting people on jobs. Like when I approach them, they got to like me to want to work with me, and I got to be somewhat charismatic to get them to see the project I'm presenting and stuff. So like that was just like a skill that I was like, I always kind of had that just as a person, and just like, oh yeah, I like to be likable. I like Alex made that joke. Oh, see David at the bar. I'll have a good time with everyone. Like I like to just chill. But that same interaction, I didn't realize I was going to use it, and it's come to my advantage of just being confident and just being myself to be like, yo, like it's a lot of times Alex like, hey, if we're going to pitch, have David pitch. You know, like they send me. And then there's other times I know there's a dynamic that Alex brings that
we want to close the deal.
Hey, we need the Alex, you know, to close this one. Or, oh, we need someone a little more funny or whatever. Throw David in there. And we utilize each other. We have a third partner, John. We utilize each other's personal traits as a skill because we know, okay, this guy is really cutthroat. John, take him, bro. That's your field. You like that type of stuff. You talk very corporate. Go over there and you go talk to him. So using each other for when we need each other is our best skill that we use to just get through the day-to-day little negotiating things, you know?
I think a skill that I have that I didn't know it's gonna work in my benefit is I wasn't afraid to ask questions or the dumb questions that we think they're dumb questions. That's one. And then another one, my art. Like I didn't thought that the artistry, I knew filmmaking was an art form, but I didn't know like the skills that I just picked up self-taught were the most valuable ones in my career. Like those ones are the ones. But being nosy, that's a skill, and that got me everywhere.
All right, I hear you. I think I had a little internet connection issue there, but well, that's very inspiring and great answers, and I know that that's really helpful for all of us to hear and for our students to hear as well. And I just love the idea of the strategy of how the three of you, you know, being yourselves, being comfortable in your own skin, and being yourselves helps you move forward in your work. That's really, really important and very inspiring. Well, I want to just close us out today by saying, first of all, thank you to our events team for putting together this day for us and for giving us the opportunity to meet David and Alex. And David and Alex, we cannot thank you enough. We're honored to have you here today. And we want to just say thank you for being here. And I want to encourage everybody to reach out. You can go to I'm trying to read that without my glasses. I'm sorry.
Always Entertainment.
You want to say the tagline there for us? Your
Fourways
website?
fourwaysentertainment.com. Or
See, you
find
need
us on,
glasses too. I'm not the only one. So
no, it's a little hard to read. But no, it's fourwaysentertainment.com. Our email is info period fourwaysentertainment@gmail.
perfect.
And actually just send us an email and we'll respond. Even if it takes a while, we'll respond. But also if you send an email right now, there's a couple PA positions opening right now for the music video that we're doing this weekend.
Music video.
Oh wow.
And
okay.
like I said earlier, I'm on IG. So if you want to say what's up, Davey, it's crazy because you get a lot of people. I've had people hit me up since our last project, and I don't mind answering people's questions, or if we can help someone, like that's what this is for. Like even how hard it's been for us, like there's been a lot of people that helped us, and it's not on me to thank him. I give it back to the next person, and you do it, and that's how we just keep this thing going, you know. So you guys holler at me on IG or whatever, like
if you guys are a fan of Wu-Tang and the RZA, that's the video we're working on this weekend. Send us an email or a DM or a messenger, whatever it is that you find us somewhere. We're somewhere in this internet, and just shoot us an email, and then if the position's open and we can fill you in, we'll fill you in.
Wow, yes, that's awesome. And I have a feeling your email is going to blow up today, so that's awesome.
Hey, that's always cool.
Hey, we need some PAs, so it's paid position. Come on, guys.
There you go. That's fantastic. Well, thank you for that opportunity. Well, we hope to see you again. Hope you'll come back and join us again. And we wish you all the best in your work. And we can't wait to see where you head next. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you to the film school. We love you guys.